The world is at war, and it's been so for some time now. Across the globe, disputes and differences over religion, governance, ideology and politics have resulted in war and suffering. Even now, any one of these conflicts has the potential for dramatic escalation and global war. Today, News9 looks at some of the world's most significant ongoing conflicts. The Syrian War, initially an uprising against President Bashar al-Assad, has waned in the recent years, but violence persists in Idlib and has erupted in northeastern Syria between the Kurdish-led STF and the Arab-led DMC. This 12-year conflict, backed by Iran and Russia, has resulted in 500,000 deaths and widespread devastation. At its peak, radical Islamist groups, including ISIS, controlled significant areas, but they have since been defeated through counter-offensives by pro-Syrian forces and a US-led coalition. Today, Syria is a broken nation, with fighting persisting in pockets all over the country. The Sudanese conflict, ongoing for 6 months, has resulted in over 5,000 civilian deaths and 5.7 million people displaced. Khartoum, the capital, is a major battleground between the Sudanese army loyalists and RSF paramilitary forces. Despite being termed as the world's worst, most complex and cruel humanitarian crisis by the UN, global powers have shown limited interest. The crisis includes sexual violence, attacks on hospitals and churches, and extensive looting. Numerous ceasefires have been organized with Saudi and US intervention, but no concrete agreements have been reached, carrying significant security and economic implications for the region due to Sudan's strategic location and resources. The Russo-Ukrainian War has its origins in the 2014 Russian annexation of Crimea and support for pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine. In February 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russia recognized separatist regions and invaded Ukraine. International condemnation and sanctions followed. Russian forces withdrew from Kyiv in April, but retained positions in southern and eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian counter-offensives began in August, with Russia annexing some regions in September. The war persists with a significant humanitarian crisis and massive casualties. Despite the recent peace deal between Saudi Arabia and Iran ending the 8-year Yemeni conflict, sporadic violence persists. The war, which led to over 377,000 deaths, primarily due to hunger and lack of healthcare, has also resulted in 11,000 children killed or wounded, with 4.5 million people displaced. It began in 2014 when Houthi rebels, supported by Iran, seized control of Yemen's capital and sought a new government, leading to a Saudi-led coalition's airstrikes with US, UK and French support. These strikes caused 19,000 civilian deaths. While hopes for peace emerged after the Saudi-Iran deal, a recent Houthi drone attack has escalated tensions again. The Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, one of the world's longest running, began after the Soviet Union's collapse, when Nagorno-Karabakh declared its intent to join Armenia, leading to a war in the late 1980s and early 1990s with thousands of casualties. In 2020, Azerbaijan launched a successful military operation, retaking Nagorno-Karabakh and leading to an exodus of ethnic Armenians. The war involved intense fighting, drone warfare, and 3 failed ceasefires. The conflict ended in November 2020 with a ceasefire agreement and Russian peacekeepers were deployed. It remains a contentious issue, with major skirmishes happening in 2023. On 7th October 2023, the Palestinian militant group Hamas launched a massive attack against Israel, killing hundreds of Israelis and taking many civilians hostage. Israel subsequently announced a total siege on the Gaza Strip and launched airstrikes on the territory. As of 16 October, UNRWA, the UN Relief Agency for Palestine Refugees, estimated that over 1 million people, almost half of the total population of Gaza, have been displaced. And this war is just beginning. Where leaders speak of righteous war and justified violence, the truth is that the only law of war is savagery. War is hell, and we are witness to it.